Generic greetings and welcome back to Prison Architect, where in the previous episodes we were continuing on our expansion and building of the facility, and as you can see we've got all of the dormitories now done, sans a couple of bits of plumbing to be done here. We also got another workshop, and this one is not actually building, so I think I will dismantle that door and change that up a bit. We also expanded over to the left hand side, which is going to become our forestry area, and also built this sort of power block type arrangement here, which not only has the 4 power stations, I was going to say needed for the workshop, but I've already covered that they're not strictly needed for all of it. But they are powering that if we check our utility screen there. And we have the staff room with all the 4 foremen here. The 4 foremen of the apocalypse, apparently. So there we go. They are sitting there quite happily, and they will be training people up in the multiple workshops that we will eventually have. However, we have a more pressing matter at hand, and that is some illness. You can see we have a total infected prisoners of 3, and the problem with that is that's going to rise extremely sharply, and that's simply because they are currently in and around here, and that's a problem because everybody, all the prisoners are in the canteen. So what I need to do is to separate the prisoners away from the rest of them and then treat them. Now, there's multiple ways you could do that. The general rule of thumb, you would be probably do a bang up, and they would go back to their individual cells. The problem with that is, as you can see, we don't have any individual cells, so that's an issue. I could say designate them to maybe give them punishment, like a 6 hours solitary punishment, but we don't have that many solitary cells. The other option is we can try and funnel them all to here, but that means them going through here as well, and that's not going to work. So I think the best course of action is, firstly, go over to intake and turn that off, because there's no way I'm receiving some more prisoners while we've still got this infection going around. I could go and I could sort of spam some more doctors, like say go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would work. That would treat these prisoners, but that wouldn't get them. That wouldn't stop the infection spreading while they're still contagious. So what I need to do is probably do a bang up and also go to emergencies and call in 2 sets of paramedics, which will bring in the ambulance here as well as all of the paramedics. You can see infection is now up to 4. The other prisoners are being treated, and what I need to do is just to stop the spread of this thing. So you can see that the prisoners here that are infected are being treated. What I'm going to do is check. That person there is treated, so that's Andrew Tries. I'm going to give them a solitary for 6 hours, and I'm also going to check the other infected prisoners and see where they are at. And if I can separate those away from the rest of them, it means that we can then... where are the rest of them? Sleeping and treated. They're not sleeping. I'm going to say solitary 6 hours. So that's 2 of the 4 prisoners. I know that one's there, but I don't want to set that to anything just yet. I'm just trying to find the other prisoner. Follow the trail of sick is the way forward. There's Johnny D. Dexter, so we'll say solitary 6 hours. And that should be all of the prisoners. So I'm just going to wait for this person to be treated, and we're now up to 5 prisoners. So it's not going to be... an immediate fix this thing, but it's going to be something that we're just going to have to keep an eye on. For the doctors, we are going to, the paramedics, we're going to rush them into this main dormitory in the centre, and what we'll do is we'll go from dormitory to dormitory and making sure that people are treated. So that prisoner is now treated. We will say solitary 6 hours. So that's 5 prisoners now that we have set to solitary. I'm just waiting for the other ones to be escorted back, because I'm trying to keep Featherstone. I'm trying to keep an eye on this to see where the other prisoner is, because there's one prisoner that is ill and untreated, and I think the best thing to do is to now we're up to 6 prisoners. I think we'll have to wait to see when prisoners are all back in the cells and such, and then we can treat it. Having this now isn't a big issue now, because we are then containing it, because if we do have spread within one dormitory, if we can make sure that one dormitory is completely cured, then we don't have to worry about it spreading between the different ones. Okay, so we'll go for the flooring here, because there is some bits to be done there. I'm pretty sure I've removed all of the tunnels, but I will double check. Yeah, removed all of those. Right, so we're just going to have a quick look. We can see that we have the paramedics here. I'm going to work from the bottom up with the paramedics, so we're going to send them into here. There is someone there that does say needs treating, so we found another one of the prisoners. So the paramedics are charging down now. They're going to come in here, and they will try to treat these prisoners. So there's two prisoners in here, so they're going to go to their locations there, and they're going to start treating. Now, for some reason, that person has not gone over there to treat. There's someone, I think, in the bunk bed there. This is where we have a problem, because I cannot see these prisoners, because they are underneath the bed, and I'm basically looking out for them being green. So that person is now treated. We're going to say lockdown for 6 hours. Over here, I'm going to click on this prisoner, if I can manage it. Just use the tab. No, it's not working out. I'm going to try and get that prisoner there. And he is now treated, I believe. Is he treated? He is treated, and we'll say punish solitary for that amount of time. It's just 6 hours. It's just to get them out of the facility. That person is the same. Is there anyone else in here under the bed, for example? I don't think so. So we're going to go down here. It looks like this is all pretty much cured. Then we're going to move up to the top. So it does say 7 prisoners in total are infected. And I believe I've got... Where are you going? Where are you going? No. No, it's solitary 6 hours. I'd probably give it the wrong... Oh, they're escorting them down to that one there. That's fine. That is totally acceptable. Right, okay. So, paramedics, this one looks like that to be... I think that's fine. I'm going to max speed it out and see if there's any more infected prisoners. It doesn't look like there is. You can see prisoners are being escorted down the bottom there. So, I'm going to check here. We have... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So where's the other prisoner? Unless they're still being escorted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's the other prisoner? There they are. You. Solitary... 12 hours. I think 12 hours is actually better than 6. 12 hours. I think it might be adding on to their punishment here. 12 hours. But it keeps them there. And that should be about right now. And that means we have successfully, I believe, contained the infection. We'll turn it from bang up to normal sleep time so they can crack on and do that. And I will get rid of the paramedics. I don't think they are no longer needed. Nor are the extra doctors that we got. So staff, and we'll go down and we'll go for 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll just keep those doctors there. I think we have got a net plus 2 doctors, but it's not really a problem. So, total infected prisoners 7, and as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we should be 2 down here. You know, it's a big prison when you have to scroll down quite a bit there. Where's the other prisoner? Have they just not been escorted yet? We're down to 6. Oh. 1 is cured now. Are they? Well, that's always good. But... we've managed to contain the infection. That could have gone a lot worse, and will go a lot worse if you leave it. We're now down to 5. If you leave it, it'll spread throughout the entire facility, and it can be very, very, very bad. And I'm not talking about just like the cleanup efforts required. I'm just, you know, you can have some serious, serious issues. Today's beverage is a nice cup of coffee, black, no sugar, and also lukewarm, strangely. So yeah, there are our ill prisoners, and that person there is cured. So I'll end the punishment. We don't need you in and around here. This wasn't really punishment for being ill. I was going to make some sort of quip about modern healthcare systems and certain political ideologies, but we'll refrain from that. Right, so I will go for end punishment on that person there. We're not going to punish them for being ill, and I will wait for that. There's another one. We're down to 3 now, end the punishment. We're assuming they are no longer infectious, which is good. So we've caught this right early on. So I wouldn't say that is the only way of doing it, but in this scenario, when you have a lot of dormitories, I would advise that you do something like that. So you have to get the prisoners as segregated as possible. Obviously, it's not totally possible with dormitories. They are going to be still seeing each other, and also you've got a communal shower area as well, which is another problem. But once you've separated them out, there we go. There's another person who is currently is treated, but they're not green. What will end the punishment there? Because it doesn't say that they're sick. There we go. They're finished now. And then there's another one. And that's it. Yeah, we have managed to successfully contain the infection. Lovely. Right. Yeah, so if you have that problem, in general, my advice would be to get those sick prisoners away from the well prisoners. So probably go for, if you wanted to anyway, you could probably go for a... Auto light is off, yes. Probably go for a bang up. That's probably the way forward. Go for a bang up, and then with that, you will have the prisoners... either in individual cells if you've got the standard cell stuff, or like this for example, or you go back to dormitories and then systematically go between the dormitories and the cells, curing those people. If they are in cells, then you probably don't need to worry about it once they're cured, or once they're treated rather, not cured, because I don't think it spreads after that, or I could be wrong, but either way, once you've done that, you can then basically mark this as sort of clean, move on, and work your way around, and obviously put them in solitary as well will also help. Anyway, so we have built this here, and we're going to go ahead and probably clone a lot of this. I'll go over to utilities and to the door servo there, which will be placed, and then I'll be cloning this, but I want to do something just before that. Now, this area here, on these large areas, is where we have currently nothing, but it is going to be some forestry. Now, forestry can be an issue because, well, there's a couple of reasons. Firstly, it does spawn, contraband-wise, digging implements, which, to be fair, are metal, so they're not a big problem to find. I don't find them to be like a nightmare to root out with metal detectors. I mean, you can still get failure rates on the metal detectors as well, and also if you've got your guards not looked after, like as in guard need wise, which we don't have on them, then there is a chance of them not finding things. But still, yeah, that's not a totally foolproof one. As far as I'm aware, though, it's like, you know, as near as you're going to get it. The second issue is with forestry. If you place the forestry areas right next to something, specifically, well, anything, mainly walls is the case in point. It will, when they place the trees like that, when they grow, they take like 9 tiles up, so it's a 3x3 square, and then they will pretty much destroy anything that they go on. So on this, they would destroy a little bit of a pathway if it was right next to that, whereas if it was right next to a wall, ooh, bit of a teeth dryer, bit of a plumber's estimate. Not so good. So you don't want to do that, which is why I've left this gap all the way around the outside. I'm also not going to be putting I'm not going to be putting any like grass in there because it just deletes it. So there's no real point. Anyway, so I'm going to go over to reports and then intake, and then I will go to fill capacity once again. Just going to double check our deployment to make sure this is fine. Yes, it is. In total, we've got minimum security prisoners. We've got some. We've got a minimum security of 37, minimum capacity 56. So we don't need to set these dormitories to anything else just yet, but I will be moving these over and continuing our progression towards medium risk. Anyway, so trees are being planted, and we'll be spending a lot of money. In fact, we have spent a lot of money, and we also need to start cloning this. So let's do that. Let's go to planning and no, not planning, quick build cloning, and we'll start cloning from here. So we'll build as much as we can in one step. It shouldn't be a huge task to clone this. There we go, and that was very simple indeed. And although, have I got that right? I think I have got that right. There we go. And that'll be cloned there. We have got an OD, but it does look like they have been treated. And it's just they've been treated before the thing goes. Just double checking down here to make sure that is correct and done, which it is. I don't have a patrol in there, I don't think. Let me just double check my deployment there. Guards, they are not set to any sort of patrols in there, but we have got the ones around there, which is fine. You can see that there is a little bit of fighting there in the centre here, but they are getting put down. They are volatile, those prisoners. While we're here, let's double check our intelligence and informants and check to see if we've got any traits that we should be worried about. Having a strong and deadly at the same time is not brilliant. Extremely quick skill fighter and skill fighter, but they're all low risk. That's interesting. I would like to activate our confidential informant to see what traits these have, and I think I will do just that. There will be some suspicion, and all. You can see there, look, we've got loads of stuff arranged to be flung over. I know there was some comments regarding that, and see what we can do in terms of, oh, there we go. See what we can do in terms of trying to stop this. Well, we know it's been flung over. We could, if we want to, sit on that and keep an eye on it and all of that sort of thing. In reality, we're going to find anywhere with our searches and going through here, and it's not as if the stuff being thrown over is really dangerous. It's mobile phones. Well, to be fair, there's a claw hammer. That can be dangerous. We've got some booze, we've got some cigs, we've got some booze. Like, you know, it's all a cigs, mobile phone, some poison. So, yeah, there is some... Oh, and apparently there's a needle being smuggled on there. Apparently there are some things that are dangerous, but the majority of it are just luxuries, so we don't really worry too much about that. In terms of the targeting, you can see that they are getting targeted there, and there's a lot of contraband, but I don't think it's a massive problem. So yeah, and then traits, you can see we've got fearless, quick, you can see what they're carrying. That's all fine, and we'll deactivate those. We don't need to keep them going. So the workers are now finishing off this workshop. In reality, there's pretty much not much else to do. I would like to build a perimeter wall. Chances are it's not going to happen. It'll cost a lot of money. I need to ideally get the workshops done sooner rather than later. In terms of expansion, we're not going to expand any further than this. I think this is coming close to the original intention and the original idea, and anything else would just be sort of a feature creep for the sake of it. We're probably best on finishing the original idea and then moving on to something else if that is the desire. But we'll cross that bridge and ask that question when we come to it. And that'll be then, not now. So, let's go over to utilities and electrical cable and see that, yeah, that is actually connected in, which is fine. We're going to run some cable like so. And that will make sure that all of these are now okay and working. We are going to be receiving 44 normal security prisoners shortly, which is quite a bit. And you can see that there's some... yeah, I wonder if they're just going over for a stroll there. No, Ian, I think you were going to pick up your mobile phone. Oh, did I say search cell? I did say search cell. That was not what I wanted to do. And I don't think I can cancel it. Anyway, I'm going to search them. And we'll see what they have on them. I'm guessing mobile phone or SIGs. It'll be one of the two. And you can see all of the stuff we're finding on them there. The problem is that there's the lack of guards there, so we've searched them, and apparently they didn't have anything on them. Okay, they might have been handed off. Who knows? Anyway, so here is our intake here. You can see we're starting to get, in between the supply trucks, we are starting to get our new prisoners. Obviously, there'll be several of these trucks with 44 prisoners coming in. We can see already we have an ex-law enforcement and some other traits, so we'll have to assign those over to... We'll assign those over to the protective custody area. Someone mentioned, because there was some fighting and we weren't entirely sure what caused the event, and people mentioned about gangs. Well, we don't have gangs on. I don't think... Can we turn them on? We could enable gangs, yes, so we don't have currently gangs on, so it couldn't have been that, so I'm not too sure what that was all about. So, let's go over to this person here. We'll double check. That's Paul Clegg, sentenced to 2 years for driving under the influence. We can see that there are no misconduct, and they are ex-law enforcement. So that is a protective custody prisoner. So at least we've caught them early. Checking the others, there are some traits in and among these prisoners here, but nothing that we are currently aware of that could cause issue. There's another ex-law enforcement and 2 snitches up here, so apparently that is the that's the snitch bus. Good band, that. Good band name, innit? Right, okay. We need to go for... probably set these law enforcement to protective custody. I'll wait until I get off the bus, actually. We can see that this is now pretty much sorted. We have prisoners going in there when there's no work set, so that was an issue. Let me go to guard patrols. We'll set a guard patrol in and around this workshop. Ideally, I would use the scheduler, but I've found it to be problematic. Right, what do I want to do? I want to go over to logistics, and we want to assign the jobs to this workshop. And there we go. We will unpause it. You can see that there are apparently some fighting going around here. There are apparently some fighting. That's a sentence. I mean, it's not assembled correctly using the the right words, but still. Extremely volatile, quick and skilled fighter. That's all that probably was. Probably. Okay, so Snitch. So Denham, Nesh, Joyce. You are now protective custody. We're going to go for the same thing over here. And just double checking that they are ex-law enforcement, which they are. Protective custody, and then we do have another Snitch here, Ian Shaw, protective custody, just wanted to den, yeah, Snitch, that's fine. So we've checked all that and we've moved them over. So if nothing else, we're going to receive some more prisoners because we've put these into this area rather than there. So we've got at least 8 normal coming, and that's accounting for the prisoners that we've released early. So, we now have more people in here, so that's good. I just want to double check our programs to see about carpentry apprenticeship. You can see we're running several of these. Workshop safety induction, I guess we could start some more, but it's not a real point. No point in any of that. What about the foundation education program? All rooms booked. Ideally, I would want to run... some more stuff for the classroom, but we don't have a classroom, so, well, that's a problem. What I want to do as well is hire some more gardeners. Apparently the tunnel there, that could be legit, that one. That could be legit. Let me search the toilets in this cell block here. It's realistically going to be in this one and this one, coming up and along. Doesn't look like it, though. Right, so we've got prisoners assigned there, which is good. That door wasn't opening as fast as I would have liked, but there you go. Let's go over to our flooring and concrete, and then we'll place that there, and then that one is pretty much sorted. So, in terms of our minimum security capacity, we're currently on, well, 56, but we have a minimum security of 32. So once that goes down to, I believe it was 28? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20, 2, 4, yeah, 28. Wow, loads of overdoses in there. Couple of overdoses straight away. Wow. Another one there as well. I guess that's a problem with contraband being able to be flung in. So, we have just under 70 grand, receiving plus and minus, sort of 10 grand a day. And I think it's probably best to continue building these workshops. I think that is probably the way to go. With this bit here, I think we will go for the extra solitary. I was going to go right across, but no, I think we will go for an extra solitary area similar to that. So we'll build next episode up from here. You can see that the the guys here are still working with these, still working on these things. Is that a tunnel? I'm going to say that that one's a fake. Right, I hope it's a fake. Anyway, yeah, I think we'll build these here because the gardeners are still planting these trees, and I'm very, very, very tempted to make these two at either side just workshop saws, or maybe just one of them. Do I want both of them? I think with the forestry we have, and with the carpentry, I think it's probably best that we have at least one of these dedicated to just saws. So pretty much have saws all the way down like this. Like all of these will be saws. There'll be saw, or maybe 2 presses, just so it no, just one press, just so it counts as legitimate. And then the same stuff for the carpenter table and stuff. That's probably what we'll end up doing. But we'll see how we get on. I don't think there'll be that many prisoners anyway that will want to work there, but we'll see. We'll see how we're going. I wonder how many prisoners we have actually got in work. I don't know. But when we go through the prisoners, you can see that they do, in general, have some money on them. So we've got 25 generic units currency, 21... absolutely nothing. 41, 15, 3, they've probably spent up 31, 30, so 20, 52. Wow, okay, Mr. Moneybags there. Yeah, it's because they've got a lot of these, and then these guys have got absolutely nothing. But yeah, because, 73, wow, okay, cool. And is in rehab apparently as well. You can see they've been treated for, I think that's alcoholics group therapy, not alcoholics, that's pharmacological treatment to drug addiction. So they are not spending their money on drugs, which is why they've got lots of money. Cool. Anyway, so that's pretty much sorted. Next episode, as I said, we'll go ahead and build these two. In fact, it'd be very unlikely that we don't get the majority of these built, because we're just going to be cloning them and we have the money, and then it's just a case of clean up, make sure everything's all right, and perhaps putting some perimeter walls in, or at a bare minimum, just putting the the barbed wire. But we'll see how we get on. As always, hope you have enjoyed the video and the series thus far. Thanks very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.